Goedemorgen, leuk hier te zijn, Erik.
Ja, welkom.
Dankjewel.
Ja, leuk je te zien, lang geleden.
Dankjewel.
Hè?
23 jaar bij Twente. Dat is speciaal voor jou. Wat heeft Twente jou gebracht, Erik? Ook in je carrière?
Ja, veel. En, dus, vak P gestaan, de hele academie doorlopen. Was in de lichting het eerste team, het eerste jeugdteam. Hè, toen de jeugdcompetities opnieuw werden opgestart na jarenlang verdwenen te zijn. Ja, dus ik heb daar heel veel historie. Diekman, naar het Arkenstadion, naar de Grolsvesten. Ja, in verschillende functies. Fantastische tijd en natuurlijk, dat heeft me veel gebracht.
Volg je het Twente nog veel?
Ja, ik volg überhaupt het voetbal natuurlijk. Ja, Twente is wel de ploeg die ik het meest volg.
En dan kijk je ook echt, je bent hartstikke druk, joh. Heb je dan tijd om die wedstrijden ook echt te zien?
Nee, maar dan kijk ik als fan, Joep. Dan kijk ik niet als supporter, dan kijk ik niet als analist. Normaal kijk je naar een wedstrijd, dan kijk je analytisch. Maar bij Twente kijk ik daar niet naar. Tenminste, voor deze wedstrijd.
Dat is waar, ja.
So, Erik, 23 years at Twente. It must have been very special. What did Twente bring you? The answer, Twente has brought me a lot. I was put through their academy. I was part of the generation of the first youth team when the youth competition was started up again after many years. So for me there's a great deal of history there. The Diekman Stadium, the next stadium, and now the Grolsvesten. The next question was, do you follow Twente? Do you watch them? Do you watch their games? The answer, of all the teams, Twente is the team that I follow the most. Question, but do you have time to do that? Answer, I watch them as a fan, as a supporter, not as an analyst. It's a different way of watching their games.
Erik, goed je te zien. Niet alleen voor jou natuurlijk een speciale wedstrijd, ook voor je assistent, voor René Haken ook. Wat zeiden jullie eigenlijk tegen elkaar toen die loting bekend werd?
Ja, die kans zat er natuurlijk wel in de nieuwe opzet van de Europa League. Maar er zijn denk ik heel veel dwarsverbanden tussen Manchester United nu en FC Twente. Dat geldt natuurlijk in de eerste plaats voor René en voor mij, maar ja, ook voor Ruud. Daarbij heb ik ook met een aantal spelers van FC Twente heb ik meegewerkt bij Ajax. Dus ja, er zijn nogal wat verbanden.
Vind je het eigenlijk wel leuk tegen Twente te spelen?
Ja, het is wat het is, maar ik had liever een andere ploeg geloot. En dan moet je je liefde pijn gaan doen.
Ja. Nou is het een beetje een confronterende week geweest, afgelopen week voor het Nederlandse voetbal in de Champions League natuurlijk. Welke verwachting heb jij wat betreft het krachtverschil in de Europa League?
Ja, dat is moeilijk te zeggen, maar het is duidelijk. Ik denk het Nederlandse voetbal heeft denk ik vanaf 2018, 2019 hebben we een opmars gehad. We hebben heel veel punten vergaat met Ajax, met AZ, met Feyenoord, PSV vorig jaar ook. Ja, nu lijkt het erop. En dan, door het succes wat je hebt gehad, ja, dan speel je in sterkere competities. En ja, dan lijkt het op dat het nu de andere richting in gaat. En ja, dat proces zal het Nederlandse voetbal moeten zien te stoppen.
Denk je dat dat iets is wat, zijn we in die zin misschien een beetje verwend geweest? Of denk je dat dat nog wel haalbaar is?
Nou, ik heb altijd gezegd dat voor een Nederlandse club is niet zo makkelijk om ver in Europa te geraken. En ja, er waren een aantal teams. Ik denk vooral Ajax. Ik zeg Feyenoord ook de laatste jaren heel veel punten hebben vergaat. En heel ver zijn gekomen in Europa.
the question. Manchester United being picked to play against FC Twente must have been quite a surprise. What did you say to one another about those names being drawn? The answer, well, there's a great deal of connections to and fro between MUFC and Twente, FC Twente, between me and René Haken, me and Ruud. Also connections forged through the various Ajax players that we've all been involved with. Question, are you pleased to be playing against Twente? The answer, I would have preferred to have played against somebody else. It's not nice to have to hurt something you love. Question, with the developments in the Champions League in the Netherlands lately, has that altered your expectations as to the difference in might between teams in this championship? The answer, Dutch football since 2018 has only been on the rise. We've been scoring a lot of points. Lots of teams have participated in this tournament, AZ, Feyenoord, PSV. But the more success Dutch football has in this arena, the more likely that it may have to start going in the other direction. So the next follow-on question is, have we been spoilt by Dutch football? The answer, it's not always easy for Dutch teams to get very far in a European tournament, but notwithstanding, a lot of our teams, such as Ajax, Feyenoord, have gained a great deal of points and have come far in this competition.
Erik, als je zo lang al met FC Twente verbonden bent, dan heb je natuurlijk al heel veel Europese wedstrijden van Twente meegemaakt. Wat zijn voor jou nou wedstrijden die eruit springen als supporter, als speler, als assistent-trainer? Dat je er mooie herinneringen moet ophalen. Kun je dan iets noemen?
Ja, een van herinneringen die mij lang is bijgebleven, dat was de wedstrijd FC Twente Ipswich Town. En Twente spelend in Engeland. En ja, daar echt een geweldige wedstrijd speelde. En ja, het voorbeeld was van positiespel. Volgens mij hadden ze over 1 minuut of zo hadden ze de bal in bezit. En lieten ze Ipswich lopen. Middenveld met Frans Thijssen, Arnold Muren, hier ook niet onbekend. En Kik van der Val. En dat was een geweldig FC Twente. Dat was denk ik midden jaren 70. En ja, wedstrijden die mezelf bij zijn gebleven. Ja, de wedstrijd die wij ooit uit hebben gespeeld tegen Olympique Marseille met FC Twente. Toen ik als assistent-trainer daarbij betrokken was. Dat is ook een beeld wat in de herinnering blijft. Wat een geweldige wedstrijd was tegen een geweldig team.
Was je erbij in Ipswich of heb je dat vanaf de televisie gezien?
Nee, ik heb vanaf televisie gezien. Volgens mij heeft de BBC daar ooit zelfs een filmpje van gemaakt.
Van die wedstrijd bedoel je? Of?
Ja, van die wedstrijd, ja. Van het positiespel van FC Twente destijds.
Mooie jeugdherinnering.
Dat is jeugdherinneringen. Ja.
So, Erik, with your long involvement with FC Twente, you must have seen a lot of their games as a player, a coach and a fan. What memories do you specifically have of any particular games that FC Twente played in the past? The answer, one particularly memorable game that FC Twente played was away at Ipswich Town. It was a very fine example of a position game where we had, where Twente had possession of the ball a great deal. Some of the players in that team were Frans Thijssen, Arnold Muren, Kit van der Val. I think it was sometime in the mid-70s. And then another spectacular away game for FC Twente that I remember as an assistant trainer was playing against Olympique Marseille. And then the question was, did you attend the Ipswich away game? To which the answer was no, I saw it on TV. I think the BBC actually did a special feature on it because it was such a good example of position play.
Okay, we'll now move on to English questions. Hi Eric, we're obviously going to see training a little later, but is there anyone going to be back available for this match?
No, not no difference to the squad from last Saturday against Palace.
With Luke Shaw, when are you expecting him to be back available? Are you expecting him back before the international break?
I think it's probably, but I can't say it's for 100% sure.
Is that back in training or back available for matches?
The plan is just be back before, but as I say, I can't say this for 100% for sure. That can be also short after the break.
All cup competitions are important, but given the increased competition for a top four place in the Premier League and the fact there's a Champions League place for the winners of this competition, does that place extra significance on this tournament for you and for the club as a whole in terms of trying your best to win it?
Yes, I think so, and it's an opportunity, and there are more roads to achieve the targets you want, and this is definitely also a road. Yes, of course, it's the most difficult probably, because in a tournament of 32, you have to be the best. But it's a target, and it's a road we want to go.
So would you say winning this tournament is harder than getting a top four place in the Premier League?
That's because in the end you get knockout stage. But I think it's don't look too far ahead from game to game. Let's first do Twente. But as you know, we want to win all the competitions we are taking part in, and this is one of them. But you have to go game by game, and let's first focus on the first game.
Hi Eric, I know the format's in its infancy, but you could finish 24th in this league format and still be in the competition. There are more games. Rodri complained about it last week. Are you a fan of the new format, or do you think it's becoming too much for the players?
I think there are two things you address here. First of all, the format, and the format. I think we have to take this experience and then judge. But one thing is for sure. I think every match is significant, and probably every goal is significant. And first you get also a split after January, where the first 8 teams they qualify, and that can help you in February to continue. But when you're on the first 24, you can win this competition, and so there's always an option to win it. And then the other question, the second part of it, but we discussed it so many times. There are too many games. It's clear. Too many competitions for the top players. They are overloaded, and this is not good for football. In the end of the day, it's maybe good for commercial, but there is a limit, and players getting injured. It's almost unavoidable that players getting injured because of the overload from so many games.
Just on that, does that overload of games and the amount of games that you're going to have to play affect the way that you pick teams, particularly for a game in the Europa League tomorrow, and particularly because of what happened with the injuries last year? Because obviously the injuries just decimated your squad last year and it affected your form. Are you going to be more cautious in the way that you pick teams for these games in all these competitions?
But in all the games, I did this on Saturday.
But is that going to have to be the case going forward though as well?
We need a squad with more than 11 to line up. We need more players, and then from game to game, we will pick a team. So, but you can't address it. This is the best 11 in this moment, and we will see. And of course, form is part of it. Tactic, of course, is also part of it. But definitely, the management of the load of the players is definitely part of it.
Hi Erik. So far you've got a goal difference of 0. I think you've scored 5 goals, so obviously allowed 5 in. I think you had minus goal difference last season. Are you concerned? I know you're without Rasmus Højlund, for example, but he was available last season and you didn't do particularly well. So are you concerned your attack's going to be toothless again this season?
Again?
Are you concerned your attack's going to fail again this season, not scoring enough goals?
Concern, we create a lot of chances in the first games of the season, Last week we scored 7 against Barnsley, so we are capable of scoring many goals. But it's a part of the game. Yeah, we have to be better there. We have to improve. We have to kill more in the box.
With your players, your attackers, is it a mental feeling? Because obviously talented enough, technically to be here, but is it just a sort of mental focus for them to score more, maybe?
I think there are different aspects on this, and most important is that you create chances, and that is what we're doing in this moment. We create a lot of good moments. We are very creative, and we have many opportunities to score goals, and we have to keep this process going. And then, of course, the finishing we have to work on.
Erik, just on the games and the loading, how can you as a club change that? Because it seems like this kind of stuff gets made by the authorities and you have to go along with it. Would you have to consider, I mean, Rodri spoke about going on strike potentially as players.
I think as a club alone, you can't change this. It's more about, say, the total industry. It's about clubs and players and coaches, and so many others who are there in the environment of football, who have to work on this to improve the game, but of course to find the right balance, because in the end of the day it's financial, and also we are professional, so revenues has to come, but we have to balance this out.
Last question.
Erik, you were obviously talking about having to rotate. You said you did that on Saturday, and when you did, you left out Marcus Rashford, and there was a lot of attention around that. Do you feel we're sometimes too quick to criticise, considering you're trying to balance so much that we probably don't understand what's going on with the players and what's going on behind the scenes?
I didn't understand the criticism in these, but people they are entitled if they want to, but what they are not entitled to bring speculation in. If I give an explanation, then they have to trust my words and to trust my explanation, and that's not right.
Okay, thank you very much.
No.